Let's go out to the Midwest and talk to Stephanie. Stephanie, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for calling.
I've been listening a lot to you. I don't really disagree with anything. But a deep sadness has come over me because I realize I'm living a destroyed life and do not, necessarily feel that I have value. And so I was wondering where I should start with your books. I mean, I never forgave my parents, and my dad's gone, and my mom is still alive, but she's like in her 80s. So there's no way for me to like fly anywhere and see anybody because, I'm in extreme poverty. So I just thought I would call you today.
When you say you're living a destroyed life, what is a destroyed life?
Well, to me, it's like nothing really ever flowered and nothing ever came of it. I don't really, didn't ever get married. I don't have any kids. I didn't have a good career, wasn't well for most of my life. And so, nothing really came to fruition. I really didn't have a dream for my life or, I don't have a sense of fulfillment because I never really got started.
Right. How old are you now, Stephanie?
I'm getting close to 60.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder, it's like a little too late for me.
No, it's not too late. As long as you have breath in your body, it's not too late. So let me ask, you said that your mother is in her 80s.
Yeah.
Why can't you go to her and forgive her in her 80s?
Well, it makes it harder that she's in her 80s, but...
Why does it make it harder?
Well, because I've known people in their 80s, and they're just not the same. When people turn 80, they're a little more fragile. But forgiving my mother is something I never, ever dreamed of being able to do anyway.
Why not?
Because it's so horrendous.
What do you need to forgive her for?
For hating me, and my dad didn't protect me from her.
And how do you know she hated you? What did she do to indicate that she hated you?
Well, lack of affection, yelling, screaming, taking things away from me that other people gave me, just making sure I did not benefit in any way.
Wow.
And also, encouraging other people to dislike me,
By doing what?
Well, by telling them things about me. She was kind of like that with the other kids as well. Just never said good things about her own kids. And it's just, lack of nurturing probably.
And why didn't your father protect you from her?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is, but I would say that, I was at one time everyone's favorite sister. People did like me, and then I feel that it's jealousy that's there.
How do you feel about yourself?
Well, I am at the point where I actually doubt the worth of women in general, and I don't know what my own worth is.
Right.
Because I do agree with you. I think Satan does pick out women first to go to.
Yes.
And destroys men through the woman because she's weaker. So evil always targets the woman first.
Absolutely.
So I'm thinking, well, what is my worth? What do I have to bring? What do I have to give? I don't even know.
Well, the beauty about that, none of us is worth a damn.
Okay.
So you're in line with that one.
Okay, good. I've hit the bedrock, huh?
That's right.
Okay.
Our ego wants us to think that we're worth something, but we're really not. And so that's the beginning of living when you realize you're not all that. You know what I mean?
Oh, good. I'm crying now. That's great. So
Stephanie,
thank you for that.
So, Stephanie, do you feel better already knowing that none of us is worth anything?
Yeah. It makes me laugh and cry at the same time. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's only the prideful people who think they are worth something, but they're not. They're living an illusion. And so you're on the right track already. And you know how you just explained to me what your mother did to you, how she hated you, and the things that she did? Mm-hmm. That's what you go and say to her as well. And then if you can see that you're wrong for being mad about it, in that very moment, God will set you free, and then you can start living. Because God doesn't care about your age. He's not into that. Mm-hmm. He cares about your life. He doesn't care how old you are. And he'll just start coming out of you with life if you can forgive your 80-year-old mother.
Well, I think my siblings would absolutely, be very upset with me if I ever went and said anything to my mom that she may have done anything wrong,
And that's because they're cowards. They have caved into her. You are rebelling against her, and it's best to be a rebel than it is to be a coward.
Well, I was always the one who sort of stood with my dad.
That's why she hated you. Yeah, that's why she hated you.
Oh.
Because she wasn't able to bring you into her camp to go against the father.
Right. I didn't really think of it like that. But that is true. That's very true.
Yeah.
I always loved my dad, and I always got along better with my dad. And all my siblings went with my mom, and I never understood that.
She was able to suck the life out of them and make them feel guilty and make them come to her so that she can have control over them. And you were close to your father. And not all, but most mothers hate their children who are close to the father.
Oh, that's just awful.
And you didn't bend to her will.
No, but it still has, not made a very happy life.
Only because you are angry at her. If you drop the anger by forgiving her, your life will become perfect.
Well, there's no way I can go out there even if I had the courage. I just don't have the resources and all.
I mean, does she live far away from you?
Yeah. It would be a plane ride, and then I would have to have transportation, a hotel, or whatever. I don't have the wherewithal to do any such thing.
No, you're making up excuses right now. You say you have a job, and if you have a job, you have a way to get to your mother.
Well, I actually have just a part-time job. I desperately need a full-time job right now.
Don't you have friends or someone who can help you out?
No, I don't have anybody. That's part of the destroyed part of it. I really don't have.
You don't have any friends at all?
Well, I don't have friends like that. I mean,
you don't know
with people.
You know people, right?
Yeah.
There are people who will help you get there to let them know how you're feeling. You need to go and forgive your mother. Are you a member of a church or anything?
No. Mm-mm.
And so you just live a life of, are you isolated from everybody?
I'm friends with a couple of neighbors, and, I have, friendly coworkers and stuff, but I don't really have any, lifelong friends or anything like that,
And why not?
I don't know. I'm just not on their level. Any of my friends were, successful, have a great deal of money, and they have their own lives, and they don't have time or for somebody who's, kind of poor.
Did they tell you that, or you told yourself that?
Well, if I've ever been in a terrible, horrible financial jam, they go, okay, well, I hope you're okay. And they have never helped me before, so I don't expect them to help me now.
Have you asked for help?
I have.
And they turned you down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they said no?
Right.
Well, here's what I want you to do. I have a silent prayer that I want you to download, and James will tell you how to do it. And I want you to start getting to being quiet and being still so God can take over your life and help you through all this. And he really will.
Well, I thank you for that, but I do recall I have done the silent prayer, and it says it won't work unless you forgive your mother first.
No,
So,
it'll work. It'll help you. It'll bring you to that place where you can go and forgive her.
oh, okay.
Yeah. And
All
so,
right.
no, you need to start the prayer, and God will take over your life, and things will start to open up for you, and it's going to blow your mind.
Okay. Thank you.
But here's what I want you to ask you to do in the meantime. In the meantime, I want. So you already have the prayer, right?
Yeah, I can pick it up on my phone. You know, I
Okay.
can Google
Well,
it, you know.
I want you to commit to the prayer for right now, and just accept that right now you can't go and face your mother to forgive her. And so do the prayer, and God knows your heart. He loves you. If he didn't love you, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. So he loves you, and he'll take care of all this. He'll make it work for you.
Okay. Thank you.
And something else I want to tell you. So you do see you need to forgive your mother, right?
Yeah, it's like a poison in my life.
Yes. And so why are you concerned about the way your siblings will feel about you dealing with your mother? Why are you concerned about that?
It's actually because of past violence. You know, I don't want to be I don't want to be within arm's reach of anybody, you know.
You have brothers and sisters?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you guys fight over your mother?
No, it's actually, you know, my mother was like more violent. You know, she believes that no matter how old you get, she can hit you in the face. You know, that sort of thing.
Amazing.
And my siblings actually liked me and everything, but they are so loyal to her that I would actually be, you know, I know it's irrational because everybody's an adult now, but I just have I have that memory of violence. I don't want to stand too close to her, you know, and I don't want anybody crowding in saying, oh, she's here and we better monitor this situation. You know,
to be honest with you, they hate her as much as you do, or even more so, because they can't get away from her. You can. They admire you for being able to stay away from the witch. Hold on, Stephanie. This is funny. All right, moving right along. So, Stephanie, you know what I realized about you?
Yes, sir. What?
You have a sweet soul. And you are blessed that God protected you and allowed you to rebel against the evil that's in your mother. And it's unfortunate for those who caved into her. They would love to be free, but they feel so guilty, and because they're so angry at her that they can't do it. But you're fortunate that you rebelled.
Thank you.
You have a nice soul. So you're on the right track. You just don't know it at this point.
I see. Well,
and because you're comparing yourself to everybody and everything, you're judging yourself. You got to stop. I recommend that you stop having an opinion of yourself.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
What were you about to say?
Well, one thing I was going to say is I heard through a cousin. I met a cousin online, and we actually did speak on the phone, my mother's first cousin.
Right.
And he conveyed to me about a year ago or more, year and a half ago, that my mother was happy that nobody came to see her for Christmas and did not bring grandchildren. And, you know, and I took that to mean that she's just too old for tumult and, you know, kids and visitors and things like that. So I thought I'd mention that to you.
Well, she might be too old, but Andre just took the words out of my mouth. She's too bitter. She's too angry. She gotten old. Based on all the information you're giving me, she's gotten old with that evil, and now she's just an old hag waiting to die.
Well, it's interesting you're saying that because I'm starting to feel like I'm that.
Right, because you have her, when you are angry at her, whomever we are angry at, we become like them. And so that same spirit that's in her has made a home in you because you are angry at her. But once you drop that anger by realizing that she couldn't help herself, her mother did it to her, and what she did to you, she couldn't help it. It was wrong, but that spirit that's made a home in her was transferred from her mother to her, and she transferred it to you guys. So she couldn't help it. Had your mother been able to do differently or do better, she would have.
I see.
She didn't decide to have children so she could be mean and nasty.
Correct. Yes, that I do know.
Just as you can't help yourself, you know exactly how she feels. She cannot help herself.
Right.
Go ahead. You were about to say something. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I would like to say is I was very close to my mother's mother.
Right.
And her parents were, I think, wonderful people. And her mother was a gentle person, never raised her voice, was very, very kind to me. And I think my mother was very jealous as well that her parents really liked me and were good to me.
Well, that's
so I'm not sure that my mother got it from her mother.
No, just because by the time you came along, her mother had already destroyed her. And that's why she drew closer to the granddaughter to make her daughter even worse.
Oh.
Yeah, you were not, your grandmother was a fake. Because had she not been a fake, your mother would not have been feeling that way about her. Children love their parents when their parents love them in the right way. So your grandmother showed you one side, but your mother, her daughter, saw another side of her. It's like a lot of women who put on beautiful hats and go to church, but before they can get back home, they're already raised in hell, and the kids don't want anything to go do with them or do with church.
Right.
So
I have experienced that.
So your grandmother was something else. She was just like your mother. She just showed you a different side.
I'll have to ponder that a little bit.
Yeah.
And
but
she was
what?
Well, she always came and took care of the new babies, you know, and
sucking the life
stayed
out of
a couple of weeks, and
was
very, cooked and cleaned and helped the family, and every single one of us loved our grandma.
I wish you could have asked your mother, why do you hate grandma so much? She would have told you.
I think she would. She does have something there.
Yeah,
but
is there?
Her mom was cooked and clean. Didn't make her do housework, or if she needed a dress, she'd sew up a dress for her.
Yeah.
She would cook and do everything. And
I wish you could have been able to find out, but that would help you to understand why your mother's the way she is, and that understanding would cause you to forgive. And then you would love your mother and not hate your mother. It doesn't mean you have to be around her, but at least you can live because you don't have that anger for her.
Right. But if she lives with my my oldest sister, and who's her favorite, my mom's favorite child, and I think it would be, what do you think? It'd be hard for me to go to see my mom when my sister's there.
Here's what I want you to do. I advise you to do. Don't, in your head right now, don't have any plans. Don't worry about tomorrow. Let's just deal with right now, because Satan is talking to you. He's giving you all these excuses, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and Satan doesn't know what's going to happen. So right now, let's just deal with this very moment.
All right.
So, Stephanie, here's what I want to say to you is that you see now that you need to forgive your mother, right?
Right.
Okay, so the fact that you can see it, you're already free. So when the opportunity comes, and if the opportunity comes to where you can go and deal with her, fine. But if you don't worry about it, because the fact that you can see that you need to forgive her, God is allowing you to see that, and He has already made you free, because you are admitting that you are playing God by judging your mother, right? So that's the
Right.
sin. That's the sin. And the fact that you can admit it and he is setting you free. So in reality, you're already free.
Thank you.
And so I want you from this day forward, this point forward, don't listen to anything that goes through your thoughts because Satan speaks to you through your thoughts. And he'll make his voice sound like yours. He'll make it sound like what we think God's voice sound like. And he'll give you what seem to be good thoughts and what seem to be bad thoughts. He'll make you think about tomorrow and yesterday. Let all that pass. I want you to doubt everything that he tells you. And when you doubt everything he tells you, there's nothing left but faith in God. When you doubt the lie, then you automatically believe the truth. And just know you're not the voice that you hear in your head, and none of it is true at any point. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And I want you to start the prayer, and I want to keep up with you. You can even call me in my office, and I'll counsel with you without charge because I want to see you through this.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so do you have the office number?
No.
Well, call the 800 number and online there. Go to rebuildingaman.com/church. And I'm going to see you through this. But for right now, I want you to go back to the prayer. Don't worry about talking to your mother at this point. You're already free, and God will take you the rest of the way. Things going to start opening up for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So be sure to call me at my office, all right?
All right, I will. Thank you so much.
So go out there today and live your life.
Yes, I'm proud to be a woman going to work today.
That's right. Thank you, Stephanie.
Have a good day. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye now. All right, folks, back in a moment. A sweet lady, folks. Sweet soul. Once that anger gone, she's fine. Back in a moment.